Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and it's Friday, which means it's appointment with Fear night, and tonight we're doing Jeeepers Creeeepers from 2001, so I'll hit the intro and we can get on with it. Right, I'm back. Do you like the hat? I thought I'd go, it makes myself look a bit like the creeper, because I've got the hair for it, and the skin. Anyway, right, as I said, Jeeepers Creeeepers tonight from 2001, directed by Victor Salva. I suppose I'd better address the elephant in the room. A lot of people won't watch this film because Victor Salva is a convicted child molester. I suppose that's the most PC way of putting it. That YouTube will like. He served his time. He got sentenced for, I think, 5 years or whatever, 3 years, and he served 15 months. And I think that he has apologised for what he's done and he's shown genuine remorse. So we'll leave it at that. But a lot of people think that he shouldn't be able to work in Hollywood again and all that. But I don't know. I'm not going there. I just thought I'd address that. We're looking at the art, not the artist tonight. So anyway, so let's get the film up as usual. I'm not playing the film. We're just going to go through it and talk about it. Before we start, don't forget up there, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, all that cool stuff, and follow me on my social medias. They're up there in the blue. They're the names, and the links are in the description down below. Now then, there we go. Right, so off we go. Jeepers Creeepers. Here we go. United Artists Films presents. There we go. Jeepers Creeepers. By the way, an American Zoetrope production. Hang on. Trying to go back so we can see the title. Oh, whatever. So we'll go through it a little bit. American Zoetrope production, which remember is Francis Ford Coppola's, or is it Coppola? However you pronounce it. It's his company of, there we go, Jeepers Creeepers, there we go. Of Apocalypse Now, fame, etc. But anyway, that's one of the production companies behind this. Right, we start off a country road and we see an old car approaching, and in this car is Daddy and Trish. Here they come down this road. It's quite a long opening actually. The car driving up, and Daddy and Trish are brother and sister, and I think they're on the way home from college. They're both at college. I'm not sure, are they supposed to be twins, or is there like a year or so between them, because they look quite close in age. But Trish says something later on that she's exactly the same on the inside as he is. And that made me think, are they twins? But I don't know. I've had a look. I've tried to find out, but I couldn't find out. But they're brother and sister at least, and they have brother and sisterly banter. Here we go. Oh, there she is with her feet up on the dashboard. It's Trish's car, by the way. Daddy's driving at the moment. And they have a game that they play. He's speeding up behind this, what they call it, an RV, or whatever they call it, motorhome. And they look at personalised registration plates, which are all the rage in America. You don't see them very often over here in the UK, but, well, you do, but, not as often as you do elsewhere. Anyway, so it comes up to see this one, see if we can get closer to it. Here we go. And he says there, gay fever, because it's he thinks that's a G, but it's actually, can you see my mouse pointer, by the way? Yes, it's there. It's actually a 6A for EVR, so he thinks it's a G. He says gay fever, and Trish puts him right, says no, it's a 6, it's sexy forever. I don't say gay fever, he says... say gay forever or something, he says like that in the end, but he's wrong. So that's the first bit of banter, and then they drive alongside them and have a look, and there's obviously a couple of a middle-aged couple, so they laugh about that. Then we find out that Trish has just broken up with her boyfriend. He calls him some sports person, and we suspect that he's been beating her because he says that later on in a few minutes. But so she's not happy about that. And they're going the long way home, by the way. He says, you know, why are we going the long way home? He says, well, maybe I like the country. So, anyway, so they're on a long country road, but apparently several years earlier, well, I presume it's 23 years earlier, there's an urban legend that a couple on the way home from prom were murdered, and they never found her head, the young girl. He's singing. They listen to the radio. They put the radio on, and they're listening to that, and it's all country and western type stuff. So he's singing, "You broke my heart in two," and all that, and it's very amusing. And she's not impressed. But meanwhile, there in the distance, can you see? There's a speck in the distance that's going to get closer, and that is the Creeeper's truck. Here it comes. Look. There it is. It comes up behind them. It's horn going like that. Scares them to death. Apparently, it's an old truck from the 1940s that they've modified to make it look scarier. Put this grill on to make it look like teeth and stuff. But at the moment, we don't know. If you've seen this film before, by the way, full spoilers, the Creeper's not human. Who is driving the truck. So I don't know how he gets his number plate, because we see the number plate soon. Did he go into the DMV or wherever you get number plates in America and say, you know, I want this, you know, whatever. But you never hear him speak. So there we go. So it scares him to death, and it gets past them eventually after a bit of weaving about on the road. And Gina. Well, it's Gina Philips, by the way, as Trish, and Justin Long, who's gone on to great stardom as Darry. And Trish says, you know, what's the matter with him? And he shouts out, "My first guess, inbreeding." So there you go. So they mention here, it's first vehicle of choice for serial killers. So anyway, on we go. This is where they're talking about the highway. It's the same highway, runs the entire length of the state. And they talk about the urban legend. They mention the names, but I can't remember what they are, of this couple that were killed, and then the bodies disappeared from the morgue or whatever, or the graveyard. And this is where he... there we go. He gets the number plate. We see the number plate on the back of the truck. It's BEATNGU. And he says, "Beating you." And she looks at him funny because they were just talking about a boyfriend. And that's when we suspect that her boyfriend's been beating her up. Or her ex-boyfriend. So anyway, so he gets that. And he says, "Hey, I've got it." So that's 5-3 because that's the game they've been playing. She's 5, he's 3. But then she won't let him have it because he didn't say it at the time. But anyway, they carry on driving. Oh, and then they stop over for a toilet break. And he's having a piddle there. And then she's over there in the field having a piddle. And if she looks, you can see all his bits and bobs. If she just looked. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're one of these progressive families. I don't know. He's looking for some water here. She finds he's taking his bag of laundry for his mother to wash, and you know he justifies it by saying it gives her something to do. It makes her happy. She likes doing his washing for him. When they go home, so they set off again. Here we go. They're off again, and they're driving by. There we go. This I think it's an old church in this film, an old abandoned church. And as they drive by, they see the truck parked. And he says, "Oh, look, it's beating you." And then they see the creeper. He doesn't have a name, we just call him the creeper. Here we go. I'd click on it and go further, but I'd miss everything, wouldn't I? Yeah, they see him. He's getting something out the back of the truck. Can you see it there? Here we go. What's he doing? He's throwing some sort of thing down a chute. And then he goes and gets another, actually. I think he gets another one. What the hell is that? Yeah, gets another one. So that's two things he's thrown down there, which don't make a huge amount of sense in the film, in the continuity of the film. We'll see. I'll point it out when the time comes. And then he looks round, stares at them. It's all very creepy. Because he's the creeper. There he goes. He's watching them. He's seeing them. So I think, right, that's it. Got to call the police, and there's no signal. Then he gets in his truck, starts following them. Then they're coming up right on our ass. Anyway, so it forces them off the road. So they go off the road, and he carries on. There's the creeper. There we go. They end up driving into a field, and they're safe for the moment. The creeper is driven away, and that's. And Darry has the smart idea of going back to the church, the old church, and having a look down that chute. And what's happening there? Can you see that there? Is that on the car, or is that like something where they've added something in post production? It must be on the car. There's like a thing there. Anyway, where were I? They're going to go back to the church. She's obviously, Trish doesn't want to do that. But he says, what if there's somebody alive? What if it's not a dead body they saw? Maybe an injured person that he's thrown down. But he actually threw two down, didn't he? But anyway, never mind. So she reluctantly agrees, and they go back. They were both pretty damn sure what we saw him dump down that pipe. And so she don't want to, but they do. They go. And Daddy has by the way, see a lot of crows. Apparently crows are attracted to the creeper, they follow him about, as we'll see later. And there's the pipe, the ominous pipe. So he has a look down, and she says there's nothing there. There's an horrible smell coming up from down there. And he has a look down, and he says he can see a light, and he climbs in, and she holds his ankles. There we go. But something happens. Is it birds? Something happens, or is it a rat or something? See, I've gone too far. Look. Rats appear, and she lets go of it. She screams, or he wriggles and wriggles out of her grasp, and they go sliding down the chute and lands in the soft earth of this basement he finds himself in. So anyway, he's okay. There we go. And he has a look round. He's torn his T-shirt. I think he's cut his hand as well. He puts a bit of cloth over his hand. I've got to be careful here now, because there's a bit of nudity coming up, and I've got to be careful. Anyway, there we go. He finds this body here. It's on a table, and I don't know. We don't see that we saw him dump two bodies down that chute, didn't we? But they're not there at the bottom. So how did it end up on this table? Did it hop up by itself, or has he got an accomplice? Maybe he has, but we never see. Anyway, it's on this table, or this raised platform. I'm sure there's a table somewhere with like an ornate carving on. Maybe that's coming up in a bit. I did watch this before now, just to remind myself about it, but I've got to be honest, I wasn't paying a huge amount of attention at some parts. Anyway, this person that's in this sheet is still alive. It don't look a lot like one of the things that were chucked down the chute, does it? Anyway, Anyway, there's a young man in there. There he is, and he's being cut open for whatever reason. We see he's got a scar down his chest, and he's all been sewn up with like rough string and stuff. God knows how he's still alive. There's some more crows. He sees more bodies, and he's having a look round. And then we might see that table that we're talking about in a minute. He has a look round the basement. I think that young man dies. I think he expires as Derry watches. There we go. In the background, you can see there's bodies up on the ceiling. He calls it like a weird Sistine Chapel, an effed up Sistine Chapel. I've got to be careful. And that's it. One of these bodies is the director, Victor Salva. So if you see a big fat bloke, it's not me. It's the director, Victor Salva, because he's a big chap. I think we're safe with this, although they are naked, but you can't see much, can you? But there's a close-up in a bit. Right, I keep calling her Gina. Trish is outside, and she panics. She sees in a bit, she sees what she thinks is the Creeeper's truck, but it turns out not to be. Here we go. See, I've gone. Ooh, that was close, wasn't it? Maybe I could have got away with that. Anyway, he finds remember we were talking about the couple that went missing 23 years earlier. He finds them. I don't know how he recognises them. I think he recognises them from a ring or something that the chap wore. There we go. Hang on. Get into bother. There we go. Move that down a bit. Just while we get past this bit. So anyway, and she's had her head sewed back on. Because remember, her head was missing. But the creeper went back for it from wherever. So he's freaking out now. There we go. You can see they look as though they've been treated. So they haven't rotted away. They're like coated in wax or something. He says they felt hard. Here we go. I can go back out of it now. Move that back up there. There we go. Right, so she sees what she thinks is the Creeper's truck coming. And she tries to start the car, but of course it won't start, so she starts panicking. But then it drives by, and it's not the Creeper's truck, it's just a farm vehicle full of bales of hay. I wonder what his registration plate is. Bailing you, or whatever, I don't know. Making that up. Anyway, she's relieved, but then she has the fright of her life. In a minute, look, she's all relieved. Gonna have a jump scare, there we go. And he appears at the window, all terrified. There's Derry. I keep calling him Derry. That's that town, isn't it? That's in all Stephen King's books. It's Derry. So he's there, all terrified. So they set off, and he doesn't talk. He's absolutely petrified by what he's seen. And they call it a diner. There's a diner on the way. So obviously, they're supposed to be in the middle of nowhere. But obviously, they're not completely in the middle of nowhere because there is a diner there, which is quite busy. So if it were in the middle of nowhere, there wouldn't be so many people in. So he's telling her about what he's seen, the bodies down there. So they go to the diner. Well, there they see the Creeper's heading back. He's heading back, and they start panicking a bit. So they're going to call the police. So they run in, say, we need to call the police. And everybody ignores them. So they're about to call the police, but then the phone rings in a minute. The phone rings, and at the other end of the phone, they're going to answer it now. They're all looking at him, incredulous. And it's, I forgot her name. What's her name? Giselle, that's it. It's Giselle at the other end of the phone. And she's telling him, she knows what he's seen, and the bodies in the cellar. And she says, "Have you seen the cats yet?" She describes Derry. He's got a rose tattoo on his torso, and he's torn his t-shirt, cut his hand. So she knows all this. But they hang up on her. It calls it its house of pain. It's not going to stop coming after you. So she scares them to death. And then she talks about the song Jeeepers Creeeepers. Where do you get those eyes? And she hears it. She's seen it in a dream that one of them is screaming in the dark while that song's playing, which we see at the end of the film. Spoilers. Anyway, so they hang up. Anyway, they call the police, and the police do come. He gets a clean T-shirt out from somewhere, probably from the car. But the police come. They're not a great deal of help. There we go. They describe what he describes what he's seen. But obviously these policemen they're not much help. But they do decide to go and investigate. But before that, somebody's out at the car. That's your car at the pumps, isn't it? Somebody's calling them. And there's some weirdo sniffing Darry's underwear, his dirty laundry. So they go out and I don't think we see, but he's gone now anyway. So, but then we get a clue about what's going on in a minute. If I can, we get a clue. Sniffing the laundry. And I think Trish makes a quip that it must be superhuman or something because it had killed him, sniffing Darry's laundry. Anyway, so I think they go back inside. They set off. The police decide that they're going to go back with them to the church and investigate what's going on. He said now he even knows Darry's name because obviously he's got his name tag on his clothes. Oh, there you go. There's a handprint on the car. And then I think we get as clue about the creeper in a minute. When it's ready. I think we do anyway. I think we do. Come on then. Oh, whatever. Anyway, they go back. Set off back to the church. There we go. He'd have to be superhuman, otherwise the smell would have killed him. So they're setting off back to the church with the police behind them. But I think they're told that there's a fire. There's a fire. That church is burning down. I think that's what these policemen are being told. There we go. The old church is on fire. So something's going on there. Obviously, the creeper's burning the evidence because he knows he's being rumbled. And then, there we go. It's they hear the song on the radio. I think that's the Susie and the Banshees version. Anyway, the police are driving, but then there's a thud. And something lands on the roof of the car. There we go. The creeper lands on the roof of the police car. And he pulls her out. Smashes the window, obviously. Unless it's open. No, she lowers the window down because she's stupid. And there we go. She has a look now, won't. So she soon disappears into the night. There she goes. And then this other chap, here we go, he gets pulled up through a hole in the roof that the creeper's just made and gets his head chopped off. And then the creeper must be good at baseball or something because he... hang on, it's gone too far, you see. See that going on in the background. There we go, pulls him up, and it doesn't show it, don't worry. Any kiddies that's watching, there we go, and the blade comes down, and then we see, then it's a hell of a shot, that, isn't it? Throws it forward, the policeman's head bounces off the roof of the car, so they slam on the brakes. And then the creeper, must be super athletic, gets into the police car. Here we go, he's in the police car now. I thought it was just going to crash into him. He's obviously not. He stops, hits the brakes, and skids to a halt behind him. There we go, you ready? Because I thought there'd just be a headless body in there now, but no, the creeper's sitting in there. Anyway, so Gina gets out to go and investigate because she's brave. Daddy's telling her to, get back in the car. But she's super brave because she's the real hero of the film. Used to call them heroines in the old days, didn't they? But I suppose that sounds too much like a drug. But there we go. She sees the head on the road is just in front of the police car. She sees that and he's and then the creeper gets out, and we don't see him properly. Look, there you go. It looks like me, doesn't it? But I'm not that tall. Creeper gets out. She gets back in the car. They're both sitting watching from the car, and he picks up the policeman's head and eats the tongue out of it. But we're still not seeing him properly, if you notice. He's still in shadow. Oh, pardon me. Oh, dear. So we're not getting a good look at him, really. We don't know his true nature yet. But we know there's something weird about him. There's obviously, he's got something weird about his face, and he's got his long fingernails and stuff. But we don't know his true thingamabob yet. This is where he's eating he eats the tongue out of the head. So they drive away, and then the creeper gets his hat back and throws the bodies in the back of his truck, and then the head. So anyway, they're driving away, and they come across this house in the middle of nowhere, and Trish, who hopes that there's they've got a phone so they can phone the police, even though the two police have just been killed, as though they were nothing. But she wants to phone the police, and this is the house of the cat lady, played by Eileen Brennan, who you may remember was in she was in the series Private Benjamin, the Private Benjamin TV series, I think. I don't think she was in the film. I think it was the TV series she was in. That's all I remember her from. I'm sure she's been in lots of other stuff. Anyway, they go and hope that she's got a telephone, but it turns out she hasn't got a telephone. They're going to phone. She thinks that the police will stop her having all her cats. And how she feels. I've got a lot of cats at the moment, not of my own. I just seem to have a lot of neighbourhood cats that come round. But anyway, that's my problem. Anyway, so she can't help him. She ain't got a phone. But then we noticed she had a scarecrow. She must have a field or something next to her house that's got a scarecrow in. And we see that, and then when she looks again, she says, "Who's that? That's not my scarecrow." And we see it's the creeper in a minute. And she comes out with a shotgun. See if I can land on the creeper. Yeah, she says, "That's not my scarecrow." And then looks terrified all the time, doesn't he, Justin Long? There goes with the shotgun. He's like, "Get up from my property." There he is, look. Anyway, she shoots him, and then whatever were there explodes. It must be explosive shotgun shells or something. But the creeper flies away, or he seems to. He's in the house now. We hear all this banging and crashing in the house, and cats start screaming and meowing, and she wants to go in there, make cats, but they try and stop her, but they can't. So she goes in. We hear all commotion. We hear the shotgun fire, and then she comes back out. We see her there, but it turns out she's being carried by the creeper. They're looking shocked again. They do a lot of that in this film. So they run back to the car. He's killed her, by the way. She's dead. And they run back to the car, and the creeper jumps onto the car. There you go. You see his hand there. And anyway, they run over him a few times, and this is where we get his first. What for me anyway? When I first saw the film, when I first saw this, I went in, blind. I didn't know anything about the film, and this part, were a proper eye opener for me. I was like, crikey, I wasn't expecting that. But Trish runs him over a few times. She pretends that a car won't start, and he starts walking towards the car, and then she puts it in gear and runs him over, and then reverses over him, and she runs over him a few times, as we'll see. And then as we're watching, we're going to see it now. As we're watching, he starts convulsing a little bit. There you go. You see stuff happening under his coat, and then shock horror. This happens in a minute. There you go. A big bloody wing appears. Now I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. So obviously we now know that the creeper is not human. It's obviously some sort of demon or something like that. Some hell creature. So he's got bat-like wings, and this wing starts flapping and stuff. So they drive off, run over him again. And anyway, they end up at the police station in the next town or whatever. And they're on the phone to their mum, telling her that they're both okay. They're at a police station. We notice there's a lot of people missing. Anyway, then Giselle arrives and she explains to him. There she is. She explains to him that it happens every 23rd spring for 23 days. It feeds as the creeper. That's when I don't know how she knows that, but she says she dreamt it. So it does that. But they don't believe her, obviously, and the police, they're going to take Darry and Trish and put them in a holding room until her parents arrive, and obviously Giselle wants to talk to them and all that. But they don't really believe what she's got to say. Anyway, all the power goes out suddenly. There we go, the creepers arrived, by the way. All the power goes out. There you go. That's where he's telling him that they pounded it to dust. But it's still around. So the power's gone out. So they go down to the cells of the policemen. Darry and Trish and Giselle are heading upstairs somewhere. So they're doing a count. They've got a few prisoners in the cells. It must be an unruly town. And gets to the end cell. They're all like giving a thumbs up, saying that yes, we're here. They're doing a head count. And they get to the end cell, and there's two of the prisoners are terrified. And they look down at the next cell, and we see that the bars are broken. Look, and there's the creeper's old clothes there, and his boot. And then we see him kind of properly for the first time, although from behind. There he is, with his wings, and he's eating the poor prisoner that were in there. And we find out that what he eats, he gets back. So he eats lungs to breathe. This is how Giselle described it. He eats lungs to breathe. He eats eyes to see, etc. So if he's injured, he just has to eat something to repair that injury. So that's what he's doing here, repairing his injuries. And the policeman shoots him, and then we hear a commotion. This is talking about that song again. Hear it playing while one of you is screaming. There we go. Anyway, so they go. There's a commotion. Something's doing something down in the cells, and we hear all this. There we go. Son of a bitch tried to take a bite out of him, and they're shooting at the creeper, but it's not doing any good. So he's got some sort of body armour that they've never seen. So all the police are here waiting. This chap goes to check it out, but they can't see anything. And then suddenly the creeper grabs hold of him. There we go. And I think he's ripped his heart out or something. And we see he's got a big hole in his chest. As described, by the way, that policeman is Will Hassanzal as an officer with hole in chest. Oh dear. So there will we. Anyway, a bit of a mistake in this bit thing. It bothers me, stuff like this. But anyway, so we see in a minute he's got a hole in his chest. Don't worry, it's not gory. There we go. So you can see the light shining through the chest, and they're all with the flashlights. They're all like, oh, crikey, that's disgusting. So we see he's got a hole in his chest. But then he falls down, and we see where his chest was. Nobody's holding the torch there. Flashlight, there we go. Bright light there. And then when he falls down, in a minute, when he's ready, taking a while to die, isn't he? Maybe it's not his heart. There we go. No light there. There was that light there, wasn't there? But that one here, it should have been about here, shouldn't it? That bright light. But never mind. Maybe he had one and switched it off. Maybe, I don't know. So anyway, the creeper's gone up a stairwell, so they're shooting up the stairwell. And on this corridor, there's Darry and Trish and Giselle. There we go. They can't get out. They're trapped. This door's locked. Then the creeper arrives. Darry is saying, you know what's going to happen, but she don't really want to say. And he's asking if her dreams are ever wrong. Obviously they're not. Anyway, they run away because the the creeper comes round the corner. They run off, and she stays there. She's praying, is Giselle, and the creeper grabs hold of her. You think, oh, he's going to kill her, but he don't, just has a sniff of her, and then leaves her. So obviously, he don't want to eat Giselle. So they go into a room. It's like an interrogation room, one of these big, two-way mirrors or one-way mirrors, whatever they call them. And we find out that the creeper's watching them from the other side. There he is, look. She's looking in the mirror. Obviously, she can't see him. She can just see a reflection of herself. And the creeper's having a sniff. That's what he does. And he comes smashing in and grabs hold of them, gets one in each hand. And he's giving them a good sniff and a good lick. Then all the police come in. Oh, he throws Trish to one side. He obviously wants Darry, but then this one-way mirror. Is it a two-way mirror or one-way mirror? Whatever they call it, I don't know. Smashes through, and all the police arrive with their guns. There they are. But he's got hold of Darry. He's got hold of Darry, and the police are pointing the guns at him, and the creeper, his head goes all weird, goes like, ee! And then he shrieks. Going to shriek. There he goes. He shrieks. But then Trish steps forward and says, "Take me. You want me? I'm the strongest one." Remember, he wants people who are scared. That's who the creeper wants, because it's more tasty for him. Anyway, his wings come out, and she's pleading with him, take me. And Darry's saying, "No, I don't know what you're saying." She is being the hero. Let him go and take me, but he don't. Flies out the window. In a minute. No, it's gone now. It's flown out the window. She can't believe it. Where's Daddy gone? And they're all watching. And Trish goes running out. She got downstairs quick because we see her running. She's following him. She's screaming, "Darry," as you would. And we see a kind of a goofy bit of animation here. It don't look that good, really. They've hidden it by adding some trees. It looks a bit good. It looks okay, I suppose. I couldn't do any better. But he's flying off, carrying Darry. And obviously, there's nothing she can do about it. So she's despondent. So we cut to the next day. She's sat there in the police station. Giselle comes in and tells her that her parents have just arrived. How she knows they're her parents, I don't know. She's psychic. And apparently, yes, she's a psychic. She's helped with the police with missing persons cases. Anyway, so they've arrived, and then we cut to, because she asks about, are the dreams ever wrong? And I don't think she answers. There we go. Darry screaming in the dark while that song is playing, and then we cut to in a minute. There you go. She's going out, and then we cut to an old abandoned factory, and we see there's all loads of crows. Oh, actually, she saw a crow. Did Trish, and then we see this crow. It lands on. There it is. it lands on this bit of equipment, old machinery, and it's an old factory. And then we go inside, and it's all abandoned and leaking and dripping water everywhere. Then we hear screaming. Obviously, it's Darry. And then we hear the song, an old version this time, like played on an old phonograph. Jeeeepers Creeeepers, that one. Not the Susie and the Banshees version. Anyway, we're slowly going down the stairs, and then we see the creeper. There he is, working away. Has he just set this up, or is this like a secondary place he had ready? Because if he just set it up, he's done it quite quickly. But it's working away at something, and we can see he's already got some bodies up. He had something back of his truck though, didn't he? So maybe there then. And then we see what he's up to. In a moment. There we go. We see who's been working on. Remember, Daddy had a tattoo on his torso. And then we see that he's got no eyes. Remember, where'd you get those peepers? So obviously the creeper. A bit gruesome, this. Warning. That, it's not real. It's only a film. Then we see, it's obviously taken back of Daddy's head off, hasn't he? I don't know why is there just half of Daddy there? Has he just cut him straight down, down the middle, so to speak? Anyways, then we get to see that the creeper's got Daddy's eyes. Daddy must have had brown eyes. We saw the creeper earlier, he had like light blue eyes. And now he's got brown eyes. So he's obviously eaten Daddy's eyes. As we zoom in on this, this puppet, it's not a real person, everybody. It's just a film. Come on, frame. Here he comes. There we go. And we see he's got Daddy's eyes. I wonder if that's Justin Long then. I don't know. I didn't really pay much attention to his eyes, to be honest, apart from he was like going, ah! And that's about it, really. That's the end of the film. Yeah, there we go. Then we go to the credits. It's a really good film. I really like that film. And the sequel's quite good too. So, I'll leave it there. I like Jeeepers Creeepers. Notwithstanding the controversial nature of the director, the writer and director, apparently wrote it in a month. The Victor Salva. Wrote it in a month, and I don't know how much the budget was for it. $10 million was the budget, according to Wikipedia, and it made a box office of just under $60 million. Don't know if that's just America or worldwide or what, I don't know. But yeah, it's a really good film. I really like it, and I like the sequel as well, Jeepers Creepers 2, which is a bit more straightforward. But that was also directed by Victor Salva, written and directed, and we see Darry in that as well. But I don't think we see Trish. But then. Not so long ago, I think about 2017-ish, something like that, Jeepers Creepers 3 came out, and I thought that was rubbish. I think Trish were in that briefly, but I can't remember a lot about it. I just remember it was crap. And then I think earlier this year, the Jeepers Creepers Reborn came out, and that wasn't very good. Victor Salva had nothing to do with that. But obviously the film company felt the need to release another. Maybe it's a rights issue. Maybe they had to get something out, or they'd lose the rights to the film. Maybe. So, but it's not very good. But it's not rubbish either. I actually liked it more than Jeepers Creepers 3, even though this is a bit crap, and the effects are very ropey, and there's a lot of virtual backgrounds and a lot of green screen, But never mind. But the original is the best, as is usually the case. It's a really good film, a good chase movie, and it's 90 minutes. It moves at a fair old clip. You don't really get bored. You don't have time, and it's a really enjoyable film. Apparently, there was supposed to be a big ending to it, where Darry crashes his car into a train or something, and with the Jeep creeper on top or whatever. But apparently the budget were cut and they couldn't do that, so they just ended up doing the ending how we saw. But I thought it was an effective ending. As I said, we see Derry. I keep calling him Darry, in the sequel with his eyes missing, in like a vision sort of thing that somebody has. But anyway, so there we go. We'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoy that film. It's a really good film. But apparently it didn't get very good critic scores. If I look on, where we go, where are we? The reception thing. Critical response, there we go. On Rotten Tomatoes, 46% of reviews are positive, with an average rating of 5.2 out of 10. It's not very high, is it? That's like a very average rating, isn't it? But I think it's really good. I think it's a really good film. I liked it because when I first saw it, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know I was going to be seeing, some sort of demon creature with wings, and that was unexpected, and that made the film a little bit better for me. Anyway, so we'll leave it there. So hopefully, I hope you enjoyed that. So, wherever you are in the galaxy, no, I don't say that, do I? On this one, I say, don't have nightmares. Don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll see thee.